Hey, you guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. So, I'm going to talk about something spiritual. Okay, and my name's Shelley. Welcome to the Soulful Psychic Readings Without the Politics. So I'm going to talk about this thing called the Flash and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, I'm like, okay, the Flash, but I never actually heard anyone say exactly what it was supposed to be. What does the Flash entail? What is there something physical that happens? Is it just spiritual or whatever? And, okay, so come to find out, this is a physical and spiritual thing. It's also so what it basically is, and I'm just gonna be very basic about it. So please don't correct me. All right. Basically, it's a huge solar flare where the sun expels energy, right? From the whole sun. The whole sun expels the energy, okay? And it creates a bunch of different scenarios. Now, at first blush, you're like, oh my God, we're going to die. That's not what that's for. We are not going to die, okay? We are going to, it is going to bring about a turning point where we literally make a decision on whether we're going to stay in the 3D or we're going to shift into the 5D. Okay, spiritually. And for me, that's mentally and emotionally as well. Okay, so I made a conscious decision today that I'm not interested in staying in the 3D. To be honest with you, the 3D is pissing me off. Okay, it's bullshit. I'm sick of it, right? So I'm making a conscious choice on a human and spiritual level, soul level, to do some things that I know I need to do so that I can ascend to that 5D. And it's not, and we will actually be living physically in the 5D, but we'll still be on the planet, okay? So one of the things that I have to let go of is smoking. Okay. A lot of psychics either overeat or smoke, or they do something excessively that makes them feel grounded. Okay. The whole point of ascending to the 5D while still on the physical plane is to, while we stay in the present, and that's actually what will bring that about. No matter what happens, stay in the present, right? That's we're all harping on that. Stay in the present moment. Stay in the present moment. Because it doesn't do any good to worry. It doesn't do any good to try and push. Oh, gee, I'm going to try and push my way into, ascending to a higher plane of being. It doesn't work that way. We ascend when we ascend, okay? Because that is totally on a soul level, and it coincides with that physical thing that the sun is going to do, the shifting of the poles, okay? So, I mean, if I took my compass out right now, I have a compass on my phone. If I took my compass out right now, it would be off a little bit. From where it used to point north, it doesn't actually point right there anymore. And I could sit in the same exact spot that I did a year ago, and it is not pointing. And it made me question, what the heck's going on with that? And now I know, because the poles are shifting, okay? So there's some things, and I'm not going to talk about all of it. I'll put a link in the description box of a video that you can watch that explains this in much more detail, okay? Because I'm like, oh my God, I haven't ascended at all. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. But the truth is, this frustration that I feel regarding the 3D, and because, I'm dropping stuff, I'm spilling things, I'm knocking things over, I'm bumping into stuff, and I'm blaming that on physical things that I have going on, some chronic stuff that I have going on. And Spirit Team told me once I calm myself down, Spirit Team says that's not what that is. That's because physically, yes, I'm in the 3D, but on a soul level, I'm not in the 3D anymore. Okay, I'm kind of right in the middle. between the 3D and the 5D, right? So I might be in the 4D, or, you know, I'm not like fully ascended to the 5D. And that's fine. I mean, I'm human, and sometimes I worry, am I going to make it? Am I going to do it? And the truth is, it doesn't matter whether I make it and do it or not. Because either way, we're all going to ascend in some form or another. And being in the 5D doesn't make a person better than someone that's in the 3D. It makes them different. We have different outlooks. We have different goals. We have different thoughts. We have different spiritual beliefs. Okay? That's all. One is not better than the other. There is this illusion of separateness that human beings have. Oh, we're separated from each other. The left, the right, the black, the white. You know, as far as, and I'm talking about like everything's black or everything's white. You know, but really things are gray, generally. Okay. There's rarely a black and white scenario. Even when I say, okay, sometimes I'll say, what they're doing is wrong. That's a black and white scenario. And it's an illusion. There is no separateness. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing on the planet. They're doing what their sole purpose, they're fulfilling their sole purpose on the planet. We teach each other. We teach one another, right? And we're fulfilling our sole purpose on the planet. There's no right or wrong or good or bad. And as soon as we can really latch onto that concept and stop feeding into the illusion that this is right and this is wrong. Okay? Now on a human level, of course there's certain things that are wrong and there's certain things that are right, but that's a human level. We're human, yes, but we're moving up into a higher consciousness. Okay? So I'm going to put that link in the video. So I was talking about my smoking. So I have 4.5 packs of cigarettes left. And I've been smoking like crazy for the past like month. It's been out of control. Okay. I gave up vaping and then I went back to it because when I gave up the vaping, the cigarette smoking really sped up. And then I looked back on it and said I was smoking just as much then while I was vaping as I am now, right? So I'm trying to work things out in my mind. I'm trying to find a way to continue on feeding into this habit, okay, this addiction, right, to nicotine in one form or another. But the truth is I have to let it all go. If I want to stop being in this heavy, dense energy of the 3D, then I have to let go of those things that hold me down in the 3D. So I'm already mourning the smoking, the quitting. I'm bawling, I'm angry, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, I'm all the things. I'm feeling all the feels. Well, I've been smoking over 40 years. I've been smoking like 43 years. Of course I'm going to feel something about that. The cigarettes are my buddies, right? They're my little friends. When I'm freaking out about something, what do? Grab a cigarette. And in between cigarettes, what do? I vape. So there's a consistent flow of nicotine in my system. Now I have plenty of gum. It's been prescribed to me for years. I have plenty of nicotine gum for those moments when I'm freaking out, because fourth day I start, I'm not going to get too in depth with what happens because you'll 911 me, but don't do that. But I get to the point where I can't deal, where I don't want to be here anymore. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That is how deep this addiction is to cigarettes, to the nicotine, to my friends. Now, I'm very clear and very open about being a recovering alcoholic and a recovering drug addict, okay? Very open about that. I went through the same things when I gave up, and I meant to stop drinking. I meant it. I was done. One of my kids said something to me regarding my grandkids, and it was like somebody punched me in the stomach, and that was my wake up. That was my aha moment. That was my wake up. It was like getting kicked in the stomach. Okay, that's what it took for me. It was my motivator. All right, I said I'm done. I'm going to get my last drink on, and I did. And then I took myself to an intake appointment for outpatient rehab, right? Because I needed that support. And I meant to get sober, and I knew that worked because it had worked for me before, maybe not long term, but it had worked for me in certain ways before. So I went back, and I meant to be sober. It was as simple as that. Okay, this is the same with the cigarette smoking. I mean to quit smoking. I'm not playing. I mean it. And I'm going to do it. No matter what it takes, right? So it's an addiction. I have to look at it like that, so I have to work, the Alcoholics Anonymous program on the cigarette smoking, and there's, Nicotine Anonymous meetings, there's support groups, there's one-on-one counseling, because it's all here, you guys. It's all here. The addiction is mental. 4 days after I don't have any nicotine in my system, it's not physical anymore for me. It's just not a physical thing for me anymore. It's all here. Or I want to stuff my face with food all day, or, something. And that's what the gum is for. Okay? So, and for me, chewing the gum is like almost nothing. That's how much I smoke. But after a few days, nicotine-free from cigarettes, it does what it's supposed to do. And I would rather chew nicotine gum for a while than continue to smoke. Because sooner or later, it's going to cause me physical damage, okay? Irreversible physical damage, and I'm not interested in being treated for cancer, okay? I got enough going on physically. I don't need to add that to the list. Just saying. All right. So, anywho, that's my experience. This is what I'm talking about. If I want to ascend, then I have to let go, start letting go of the things that are holding me, the heavy, dense energy of the things with the heavy, dense energy that are holding me here in the 3D. Okay. So, I know what I need to do. And hopefully when you listen to this, you'll know what you need to do. What is the thing? And we don't have to let go of everything at once. Okay, we get there when we get there. It's not a race. Okay? Nothing is a race. Life is not a race. It's not a competition. And that's why we keep talking about stay in the present moment. Stay in your heart. When someone's pissing you off, when someone's doing something that just grinds your grates your cheese or whatever, or grinds your gears, understand and remember that person or those people are doing what their soul purpose, they're completing their soul purpose. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And every single person who's affected by the things that other people do, they're fulfilling their soul purpose too. On a human level, we cringe and we go and we cry and we get upset and we bulk at it. And we're like, no, that's not right. That's not right. And it isn't right on a certain level. But this is what these people came here for. And that's how I get through the indecencies and the what's the word I want? The nastiness and the meanness of the actions that other people are taking. Okay? And we're gonna see people that carry that dark, dense energy, who are choosing to carry that dark, dense energy on whatever level. We're gonna see them fall away from us. We won't interact with them anymore. We'll start connecting with our soul tribe. Okay? We'll start connecting with our communities. Because that's what this is really going to be about. Yes, it's on a singular or individual spiritual level. But when you get all of us together that are doing the same thing with the same goals in mind, to live in a better world, to see through the illusions, take off the rose-colored glasses, to see things for what they truly are on a spiritual level, one person at a time, and us all gathered together to form a new earth, a new world. Okay? That's what all this is for. So I truly hope you got something out of this. Don't forget, if you want to see the... I got to be honest with you, there are a lot of us readers. Now, I do the Healing Truth Tarot, and that's the political readings. And there's a lot of us that are like, we don't want to do it anymore. We don't want to read for that anymore. It's 3D. We don't want to read for that anymore. But there's a fear there because we're still human. There's a fear there. I don't want to let go of the Healing Truth Tarot because I'm going to lose subscribers. And then I'm going to lose income. What do I do with that? Well, at some point, I will just be done. Just like I was done with drinking and drugging. Just like I'm done with smoking. At some point, I will be done. And I will be taken care of. And I need to have faith in that. I need to trust in that. What is it that you are afraid to let go of? Because you're afraid you're going to lose something that you need, right? Like you need to eat. You need a roof over your head, right? What are you afraid of that you would lose if you let go of something in the 3D? So I'm going to continue to do those readings on Healing Truth Tarot until I'm done. And I don't know when I'm going to be done. Again, one thing at a time. We don't have to let go of everything all at once. But I want to start focusing this channel on the spiritual aspects of the things that are going on around us in the world without focusing on politics. Yes, it's a part of it, but there's other things going on. Okay? So, that's all I got, you guys. Thanks for listening. Much love, many blessings. Don't forget to look for that video in the description box that explains the flash and the polar shifting, okay? It's over an hour, but it's a fabulous video. It's very informative, okay? See, I know I can tell I'm moving out of the 3D, and I have been for a while because language is very difficult for me, okay? It is impossible for me to put into words or language the spiritual things that are going on. It is very difficult because language doesn't cover it, because it's not about language, what's going on with us. It's about energy. And often there isn't a word or a phrase that can cover what's really going on. So we have to dig deep down within ourselves and allow ourselves to feel the energy of the 5D. Or the 4D, or whatever. Really feel that energy. Because spiritually we understand it. But it doesn't mean that we can verbalize what's going on with us. Because I don't feel like words cover it. They don't. It's just, the words just aren't enough. It's energy. Okay? All right, you guys, enough. I know I said I was leaving you. All right, so thanks for showing up, you guys.